Trump and his agenda are rolling along, but I think for the first time we are seeing some serious opposition to Trump in a way that I just don't think we even saw at all for the first 6 weeks of his presidency. It never ceases to amaze me how openly worked up liberals are getting from Doge and Elon Musk specifically, and how they hate accountability in the federal government. And that was certainly the case this week as we had a lady go up to the Capitol. She works in the federal government, and she essentially complained about how she was actually having to be held accountable and do her job. Take a look.
When you wake up or when you're on your weekend and you get the fork in the road message, or you get the subsequent 5 bullets, hey, what the hell did you do, you lazy federal worker, this week? How frightening is it that someone on X, the owner of X, speaks to you directly to say, what did you do last week at work? And if you don't answer, I am going to fire you. But even more egregious, the president comes out, the most powerful person in the land, and endorses that message.
So I really hate to stereotype, but she checks all the boxes. She does. She's an older white lady. She's wearing a mask. And of course, you can see there, she's got the Ukraine flag ribbon on her. And I say it's a stereotype, but honestly, it's actually a valid point. And the reason why I say that is I looked it up. And Pew Research says that 72% of unmarried white women lean Democrat. So when you see that, it's like, obviously the mask and the ribbon are a dead giveaway. But without that even, you know what these people are. The mask is obviously insanity. And the ribbon and the flags really got me. I think this is profound. This is my thing. If you think Doge is unconstitutional or something like that, and we can agree, we can disagree, we can agree, like we can have a conversation about that. I think you're wrong. I think that's kind of crazy. But I can acknowledge at the same time that you have an argument and you are coming from a place of love. You love the country, and that's all good. But I cannot take you seriously if you are standing on the U.S. Capitol talking about the federal government and you're wearing another country's flag. I just cannot take you seriously. You at least have to wear the American flag if you want to claim that you care about the welfare of that country. Getting into the content, though, of what she said, I want to say this as well. It's crazy that she had the confidence to go to the Capitol and complain about being held accountable. That's what she's talking about. That takes stones, I think. That is like very, very brash for her to just show up and say, I am angry about being held accountable, because her whole argument there is that she's upset that she's being asked to account for what she's done. That is what she says. Those are basically her own words. Like, she doesn't even really lie. Like, she says the truth there. And herein lies both the problem, I think, with our bureaucracy, but also the genius of Doge and Elon Musk, and of course Vivek Ramaswamy, who also set up Doge. What it does is it weeds people out who do not like accountability, because it sounds like this woman doesn't want to work for Trump anymore because of Doge. She was in the federal government. Maybe she was hired by Obama or even Biden, maybe even during the Trump era, because there were plenty of rhinos running the federal government at the time. But now that Trump is actually serious, and he's got, and when I say serious, I mean serious about rooting out corruption in the federal government, and now that Elon Musk is involved in doing things through Doge, I think this woman is looking at it and she doesn't want to work for that anymore. And that was kind of the intention of Doge from the very beginning. Because you can make them quit. You don't even have to fire them. You can make them quit because they don't want to work under the normal private sector conditions. You don't even have to fire them. And so I think that they're going to quit for the simplest things in the world, like having to tell your superior what you did this week. There's only 1 month to file your taxes left, guys. Fortunately, I've partnered with Quick Tax America to get you your best return possible, because they hate the IRS as much as you do. Quick Tax America has already gotten its average tax returner over $3,000 back through tax credits. And unlike other services, they're not raising their rates right now in their last month. I know a lot of people do that. They do not do that. All their federal returns are only $69. It's a completely transparent price because it's their only price, no matter how complicated your taxes are. They do all the work for you. All you got to do is simply upload your files, answer a few basic questions, and schedule a 15-minute finish your return call with a tax professional, and they do all the rest of the work. They're a fantastic, fantastic resource for you so you can get that money that is yours rightfully back from the IRS. So go check them out right now at quicktaxamerica.com, or you can go to the link in the description below. So the drama of the week is between Trump and Thomas Massie, and I have an opinion that I think is a little different from a lot of people, a lot of Republicans or conservatives. I'll read the tweet that started it all, and then I'm going to talk about why I actually side with Trump more than Massie, despite, again, a lot of Republicans coming out in support of Massie. Here's the tweet. This is what Donald Trump said. Thank you to the House Freedom Caucus for just delivering a big blow to the radical left Democrats and their desire to raise taxes and shut our country down. This was in response. They had to pass a bill in order to keep the government open. It would have shut down on Friday. He continues, he says, they hate America and all it stands for. That's why they allowed millions of criminals to invade our nation. Sometimes it takes great courage to do the right thing. Congressman Thomas Massie of beautiful Kentucky is an automatic no vote on just about everything, despite the fact that he has always voted for continuing resolutions in the past. He should be primaried, and I'll lead the charge against him. He's just another grandstander who's too much trouble and not worth the fight. He reminds me of Liz Cheney before her historic record-breaking fall. The people of Kentucky won't stand for it. Just watch. Do I have any takers? Anyway, thank you again. You can hear Trump's voice in this tweet. I wish I could do a Trump impression. I'm not going to even try. He finishes simply by saying, anyway, thank you again to the House Freedom Caucus for your very important vote. We need to buy some time in order to make America great again, greater than ever before. Unite and win. So since I'm more on Trump's side about all of this, I'll just come out at the beginning and say that. Let me say the things he's actually wrong about in that tweet, and then I'll talk about why he's more right than Thomas Massie, in my opinion. Trump is wrong about Thomas Massie needing to be primaried. That doesn't need to happen. So in that sense, you could say I'm on Thomas Massie's side. I think that's strong language. It's not unifying. Thomas Massie has said a lot of very MAGA things, and I think saying things and doing things are a little different, but I still think being a cheerleader is worth something, and I think seeing that he's won such historic numbers in his district in Kentucky says something. I don't think Donald Trump should look at that lightly. If you look at the numbers from 2024, Thomas Massie won his reelection by more votes than Donald Trump did. So just as a political kind of note, I don't think it's wise for Trump to say it, but I also don't think it's true. I think he's a great congressman, Thomas Massie. I think he just made a mistake on this. The other thing Trump is wrong about, I also think that Massie is nothing like Liz Cheney. I think that was a poor analogy or comparison to make, because Liz Cheney is a rhino. She completely, like a lot of people brought this up. This is kind of something interesting. People have brought up, you see a lot of people from the left defecting to the right. We can say RFK Jr., Elon, and maybe not the full right for RFK Jr., but you've got Elon Musk, RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, so many people. And a lot of people say, well, there's none of that happening on the other side. Well, it does happen occasionally. And the biggest one I would point to is Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney is someone who was on the right and moved over to the left. But in my opinion, it wasn't a big loss. Like you look, and the reason why I bring this up is from the left to the right, they lost some fighters. I mean, RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard, in my opinion, are awesome. Like really good fighters. They lost big ones. We lost Dick and Liz Cheney. I'm not upset about it. They're warmongers. Like really. They're, you can call them a neocon or whatever you want to call them, but they're not MAGA and they're really not America first at all. So I don't think it's a big loss. And so I look very poorly, I guess is what I'm trying to say, on Liz Cheney. I think all MAGA Republicans do. And I think that Thomas Massie should not be held in that same light. Like I don't even think Donald Trump thinks Thomas Massie is the same as Liz Cheney. I mean, they're a completely different spectrum. Trump was wrong about that. But where Trump is right is Massie's overall philosophy. This is where I really differ from him, and you can tell me in the comments if you disagree with me. But I know that there's a lot of diehard conservatives who love Massie because he holds the line, which is a good thing. He doesn't want to give Democrats an inch at all, which again, I sympathize with that. I understand. And he's kind of a libertarian that cares about getting our national debt in control. And if you look at this bill, that certainly doesn't do that. I mean, it certainly increases the debt. The problem is that Massie does not have the same job as me or you. He doesn't. He is a legislator. Me and you can be absolutists about policies. We can We can believe hardcore things, we can stick to them, and we can never deviate. I'm that way about a lot of policies. I love it. And that's part of the reason why I love this job. Massie, though, is called to represent his district as a whole and to make compromises as a legislator. It's a negotiation. And that's because and the reason why I say it is because we have over 400 Congress people in our country, and no one congressperson is going to get everything that they want from a bill. It's impossible, and everyone acknowledges that. And it would be wrong if they did, because that would mean whoever's living, the few 100,000 people in their district, is running the whole country. So it turns out that politics is about getting about 60% of what you want. Anything really higher than 50% is good, but you can't get it all. And if every single, this is the thing, if every member of Congress were Republicans and all of them thought the same, sure, you can do that. But you have to acknowledge there are over 200 Democrats in Congress, and there's many Republicans that have differing opinions, obviously. Thomas Massie is one of them. And so you can't get away with getting everything you want. And I think this is, frankly, something that Thomas Massie doesn't understand very well. My problem is he needs to recognize that his beliefs should not supersede hundreds of other Republican congresspeople. He wasn't the deciding vote on this, luckily. Otherwise, this would have been a much bigger issue. But if he had been the deciding vote, essentially what you're saying is my opinion matter. All these other congresspeople were able to get together, have compromises. They talked to Mike Johnson. They talked to Donald Trump. They add things to the bill. They take things out in order to kind of change it. And they were able to get on board. But Thomas Massie, again, is saying, I don't care. This is, and again, his convictions might be true and they might be good, and they probably are. And I think that's why people kind of jump to defend him. But at the end of the day, his job is not to just grandstand and do nothing. His job is to realize that if he doesn't like the bill, he has to put up a plausible political alternative. And if he doesn't do that, then it is grandstanding. That's where I agree with Donald Trump. His job is, again, to legislate and make deals. It's not to be a political commentator. That's my job. And I like it. And that's why I'm never going to go into elected politics. I have friends all the time that are like, why don't you go into elected politics? Because then I have to make deals with people. And when it comes to abortion or gender theory, I don't want to compromise. I'm not going to do that. That's not my job. I'm going to tell the truth. And Congress people, their job, unfortunately, they can still tell the truth, but it's to make deals. I talked about this the other day. Gavin Newsom has a new podcast. Gavin Newsom is the governor of California. Why is he making a podcast? Obviously, there are political reasons, but it's because at their core, a lot of politicians want to be political commentators. And frankly, many of them are really good at it. If you want to go into Forbes breaking news, you see it all the time. But if you look at those Congress people who are on Forbes breaking news all the time, chances are, it's not all of them, but chances are those are the people who have actually not done the most legislation, who really haven't helped that much. I don't know if Thomas Massie is fully on that list, but I worry sometimes when Republicans say really great things and everyone kind of gives them all this praise. Wow, that was great when you wrecked that Democrat in that Senate hearing. They forget that their job is to actually legislate and do something. And that those people talk a lot, but they don't do anything. And again, they don't get to be the absolutist. That's not his job. And what Trump is saying here is that he's on a team. Thomas Massie's on a team. Sometimes you got to go along with the team. Or if you don't want to go along with the team, you have to offer a good alternative. And Thomas Massie did neither of those things. Hey guys, I want to let you know about a deal I'm running right now on Amazon. My book, A New Cult, it's up on the bookshelf right there. It's only $9.99, or if you have a Kindle subscription, it's actually free to you. Go check it out right now. I had a great time writing it. I talk about some crazy stories in the left devolving into a cult. We know this, but it gets crazy. I know you'll enjoy reading it. Go check it out. The link is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you haven't already, go down below, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and watch another video.